Whoa, that's a lot more pigmented than I expected. Whoops. Not really. Whoa. It works. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Mcgrath Celestial Odyssey palette. Now I know you've probably seen like 800 reviews on this already. I hope that my review adds a little something that you haven't seen before. I haven't seen any reviews. I did pick this up the day it launched and it got to me like the day after because Mcgrath, I guess her shipping warehouse is very close to my house, but I was in Miami taking care of my mom, so I wasn't even in town at all in order to review this. I just got back a few days ago and I'm sitting down now to review this. I did do 3 looks with this palette. I want to do some comparisons to last year's Celestial Divinity palette. I have a bunch of thoughts on this palette. I do. But yeah, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of reviews just like this, and let's get into this video. This is the palette in all its glory. This is a limited edition palette for $78. It's available at Sephora now, and it's also available at mcgrath.com. I'm sorry that I didn't get this video up in time for you to get the 10% discount because she is no longer doing that. There are 18 shades. There are 4 matte eyeshadows in this palette and 14 shimmer eyeshadows, and some of these are previously released shades, but the majority are new shades. This palette is made in the USA and it has imported ingredients, so it's not her normal made in Italy mothership palettes formula. By the way, I did purchase the entire collection. The other one hasn't shipped yet, and I'm not really sure why she didn't launch them at the same time. I will tell you right now that comparing it to the Celestial Divinity from last year, it is a lot thicker and bulkier and longer even, and that's only because of the center inscription with the Mcgrath logo. To be honest, I'm not a fan of this packaging at all. This is taking up a lot of room. This is just a lot thicker. I don't like this packaging at all with the string. It doesn't stay open. It's kind of hard to open. The magnet's like almost like I have to like rip it open, and it just overall feels a little bit cheap. It's cardboard and whatnot. I'm only being really harsh about this packaging because the mothership palette packaging is just so luxurious. While this is less money for smaller pans and more shades, the packaging shouldn't really be sacrificed, and that it's just like it won't stay open. It's like really annoying. You can also cut off the strings, by the way. I have not dared to do that. I just don't think I will do that. Packaging at the end of the day is just packaging. It's the formula that matters to me. After swatching them, I did notice that there were quite a few differences in texture. There are some pearl shades, some metallic, crazy intense metallic shades, and then there are just some a little bit like lackluster shimmer shades. They're not like as intense metallics. The quality in here is amazing. You'll see me talk about that more throughout the video. With that being said, let's get into the looks now. Okay, so the first shade I'm gonna go in with is Sunrose Amber, which is the lighter of the brown. It has a little bit of kick up in the pan, if you guys can see that. And I'm gonna take that on a Refer 27 brush, and that's gonna go all over the crease. Whoa, that's a lot more pigmented than I expected. Whoops, that is a lot more pigmented. The good thing about usually Mcgrath's mattes is that they blend out really easily, and almost always you could fake like there's 2 shades. Okay, that blended out a lot easier than I thought it would. I recommend taking a really light hand. It does have a lot of kick up and a little bit of fallout, not too bad. I actually really like how that shade builds and blends. I'm really impressed so far. I usually am really impressed by her mattes. We're gonna go in with Nocturne, which is a deeper dark matte shade. Deep in the outer corner, of course. You know the drill with this kind of stuff. It's very pigmented. Honestly, it doesn't look this deep in the pan. This is a Refer 14 brush, by the way. I find it easier with this shade to kind of pat down the color and then blend it out. I kind of took it a little too far over here. I think it's because I was like trying to go in and blend right away. Going with that first brush I went in with, no additional product, blend out the outer edges. These two work really nicely together. Okay, on the lid, I'm really excited about this shade. I'm gonna take the shade Bronze Nova. This is a metallic, but it has like flecks of pink. I feel like this shade would go really well with even the pink mattes in the crease, but I just want to use it all over the lid today. I don't know. This is such a stunning shade. These two are very similar in formula. They're like a metallic, but they're kind of crumbly, but not in a bad way. Like they are very opaque, and it's very creamy as well. Look at that sparkle. It's got like a duochrome. It's super pretty. It doesn't apply the best with a brush, I don't think. So we're gonna try with the finger. Yep, that's a lot better. Look at how gorgeous. Like My camera is not even gonna pick up how stunning that is in person. This is a gorgeous, I was gonna say everyday shade, but a lot of people would be like intimidated to wear this every day. But I mean, this is totally a look I would wear every day. I think it does work better with the finger. You can use a brush to get like more precise with it, I guess. I'm just gonna take a little bit more, a tiny bit more of the deep shade and blend that toward the lid shade. On the lower lash line, I'm gonna take a few shades. I'm gonna go in with a matte first, like this one, and I'm gonna be very careful because it is a little bit darker than I expected. That's gonna go like all over and blend it out really nicely. I might actually end up taking the same fluffy brush. Like that's how blended out I want it to be. I'll start with Bronze Eclipse. This is a metallic sheen, and I'm gonna take that on the outer part of the lower lash line just to use as many shades as I can. This doesn't have that intense metallic that I like to put on the lid, although it would for an everyday look. Not really a favorite type of formula because it's too muted for me in my opinion. I'm gonna take that fluffy brush and just kind of blend out the outer edges. In the inner part, I'm gonna take the shade Gold Galaxy. Gold Galaxy is described as a metallic, but I would say it's one of those metallic sheen shades, just like the one I just put. And that's gonna go on the rest of the lower lash line. Wow, that looks really pretty actually. And in the inner corner, I'm gonna take the shade Galactic Glow, which is like that similar shade that's in her Mothership palette. There's always like a cream colored like shimmer shade. This is kind of a hodgepodge of random colors, but I kind of like it. This is before lashes. Okay, so this is the final first look. I do have to say I really like this palette so far. I've only used a few shades. I know it's a pleasure to work with because there are so many different textures within the shimmer shades that I really enjoy just using a variety of like different textures on my eyes. I don't know, and the mattes just blended out so nicely, and I just love the way this look turned out. Honestly, you can create a very simple everyday look, much more simpler than what I created here. I usually like to go for the really simple everyday looks as my first look, but I really do like the way this turned out. Like it's fun, it's different, and I want to use as many shades in this palette as possible, so that's why I decided to do what I did. Okay, so for this next look, I want to do something in the like pinkier realm. I'm gonna start with Electric, which is like a corally pink shade. Again, there's a little bit of kickback in the pan. I think I'm gonna wing it out a little bit. These shades are just a lot darker than they appear in the pan. The good thing about these shadows again is that they normally do blend out very easily. I just want to show you the amount of kickback in the pan. Can you guys see that? That is insane. That's what tends to happen with very pigmented shades. Next, I'm gonna take the shade Saturn Sunset, which is like a plummy reddish pinkish shade, and that's gonna go obviously to deepen out the crease. I'm interested to see how the browns and pinks work together though, but for this look I want to keep it kind of monochromatic. Yeah, I don't really see that much of a difference between these two in all honesty. There's definitely a different hue, like it has, like I said, more of a plummy undertone. It's not something that I couldn't achieve if I just built up the transition shade a little bit more. See, this is where I would like a little bit more variety. I'm gonna be limited to like one shade on the lid, and that's like really annoying. I'm gonna take the shade Heavenly Body, which is a metallic like rose gold. This is one of the more crumbly metallics, but it's stunning. Let's see how it works. Yeah, it's so crumbly that it's really hard to get it to apply where you want. So I'm gonna take my finger. For this one, I recommend using a glitter glue or even cutting your crease. This is such a pretty shade. It's a very nice monochromatic look. Kind of boring, but this one's getting everywhere. Definitely recommend using some sort of base because it's making a mess everywhere. I'm gonna do something completely different on the lower lash line, but first I'm gonna go in with the two shades I took in my crease just to keep it even. So I'm gonna start with the darker shade and put that really close to the lower lash line, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the lighter coral shade, just blend that out. I'm scared, but I want to do something different, so I want to take the shade Noir Moon, which has like a blue purple kind of shift. I don't know, I think it'll match really nicely, and I'm gonna take that really close to my lower lash line. It almost like doesn't appear the same way it looks in the pan on the lower lash line, so perhaps this was a mistake. It's not bad. I just know I'm gonna be taking this shade, what's it called, Nirvana, on the next look, but I think it might help like intensify it because it's that same color story. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that one on top. This is kind of fun. It's a little different. I'm gonna take the shade Lunar Haze in the inner corner. This is what I hate about this palette. It keeps like closing on me. This is one of those like shiny shimmer shades. Not really. Whoa. That was way more intense than I wanted it to be. I'm gonna diffuse this a little bit. What's missing from this palette is like some sort of blue matte, maybe even a black would be perfect. Something in this family or even a purple one I think would add a lot to this look. I don't know. This is the look without lashes. I just wanted to do something a little different. It may not be for everybody, but I don't mind it. I think it's fun. Okay, so this is the final look. I really like the lid shade. I think it's a gorgeous shade. I would just, like I keep saying, use a glitter glue or some cut your crease so like it doesn't go everywhere. I don't know. This shade is stunning. I want to use it on as like a smoky eye at some point. I feel like to use this on the lid, I will have to dip into another palette to like really deepen out the outer corner like with a black or something, and that's just kind of annoying. Okay, like I said, for this last look, we're gonna be focusing on that blue, that gorgeous blue. I'm gonna put that all over the lid for sure. But first I'm gonna go in with the shade Electric, which is this one right here. I want to keep it like more pinky tone, but I do want to see how the pinks and the like brown tones mesh together. I'm gonna keep it like more circular this time. I was gonna do a halo eye, but I'm not sure that's gonna look very good considering we don't have like a super deep black shade to help deepen out like the inner and outer corners, you know? I just love this shade. I think it's a great transition shade. Very pigmented and smooth and blends out with ease. I love the mattes in this palette for sure. I just wish there were more of them. I'm gonna deepen with the shade Nocturne. Let's see how this goes. I don't know. I just feel like a purple would be so cute in the crease, but let's see how these two mesh together. That deepens out very nicely, but how does it blend with the pink? I feel like I took a little much. I'm gonna take just that same brush that I was using before, no additional product. I kind of put too much of that brown shade. I don't know. I don't really like the mix of these two. Obviously for the lid, I'm gonna take this shade Nirvana. It's such a stunning shade. It's got a gorgeous like shift. I think this will look really nice on the lid all over. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of the green, but I might do like this green over here, but I might do that on the lower lash line or something. It's not as crumbly as the other ones I've used, but it's still like a really intense metallic and it picks up really well on the brush. So I really like that. You know what? I think I'm gonna flip my brush over and take a little bit of the green. This is called Citrine MV. And yeah, this is more of that like crumbly metallic. I'm gonna put that a little tiny bit. Yeah, I missed the chance, I think. Like for it. Oh no. It works. Look at how stunning that is, guys. What is life? On the lower lash line, I think I'm gonna take this shade right here, which is called Lotus Luxe. I'm just gonna put that all over the lower lash line. In the inner corner, I'm gonna take this shade right here, which is called Palladium. It's like a grayish green taupey, I don't know, shade. Yeah, that's another one that you have to take. It's very similar to the lilac I used in the last look, and you just have to take like a little light hand and then like blend it. Here's the final look without lashes. Okay, so this is the final and third look. So I think I've made my thoughts about this palette pretty clear. I love this formula wise. I think that it's absolutely amazing. I do really enjoy the formulas of these. The shimmer shades and the mattes are very similar to the Mothership palettes, honestly. I only didn't use a couple of shades in here, and that's this orangey one and then this one, which is a little bit kind of boring, to be honest. It's like a very lackluster shimmer. It would be perfect for an everyday look. If I was doing a true everyday look for this video, I would have used that one. I love the different textures that you get in this palette. I think that this is a great way to test out the Pat McGrath formula without having to spend that $120 price point of the bigger Mothership palettes. The quality in here is still true to Pat McGrath. I think that if you are wanting to try Pat McGrath, this is a great starter palette. As I've said a bajillion times in this video, I do wish there were a couple more mattes in this palette. I would have substituted one of these like mauve rose gold shades, shimmer shades, for another matte or two. Again, very interesting textures. Some of the metallics are a little crumbly. You have to kind of be careful when you work with them. And the mattes are so amazing. They're so smooth and blendable, and they're buildable. Let me go ahead and show you last year's holiday palette. Very similar packaging. I prefer the color story here, and here's why. I love the vibrant shades in here. I love this shade. I love the purples in here. I'm just like such a purple lover. I think that you can create a ton of looks with these palettes together. Like, look at them side by side. The packaging is something that also like it annoys the crap out of me. I just can't. I prefer last year's packaging. It's a lot more sleek and slim, and it's just cardboard. This one feels heavier. It does have that like plastic part that the Mothership palettes have. This one's just bulkier. The shades in here, again, they do go hand in hand. There's not a lot of different textures in this palette in comparison to the Celestial Odyssey. All of the metallics in here are kind of similar to one another formula wise, like they're just metallics. Overall, I do recommend this. Like, if you were on the fence and you were like, oh, do I really need it? I would say evaluate your collection, and if you don't have any shades like this in your collection, I recommend picking it up. This is a palette I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of, but I know I'm gonna want to dip into other palettes. I do still recommend this, and I think that the formula is great, and I think you can come up with a lot of looks. Like I can think of a bunch of looks I would create with just this palette alone. Please do let me know which look was your favorite. I have to say I love this look. And yeah, that completes this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Whoa, something exploded and got everywhere. No. After 3 freaking looks, my eyeballs are dying. I just want to rip them out of their sockets. Give them a nice little wash under the sink and put them back in. And that was so morbid. I can't believe I just said that.